Hey there everyone, that sexy nerd is back again, and I'm excited. I'm excited. And you know why? Because Godzilla is going up against the Rumbling from Attack on Titan. My God, I cannot believe I've never talked that much about Godzilla or Attack on Titan on this show. I've mentioned Full Metal Alchemist before a couple of times, and not this. Ugh, not Attack on Titan or not Godzilla. Whew. So to start off with, Godzilla has been in my life since I was 3 years old and has never stopped or dropped or anything. You know, I remember people used to get on me for that, and I'm like, there's something there, man. There's something there. It's like I've never stopped loving it, even when people were like at me to not love it. I mean, and even my family actually loves it because of me, basically, and even the next generation is done. My nephew has this exceedingly large love for Godzilla. So, yeah, it's something to pass down. And let's not forget Attack on Titan. Probably one of the best anime. I don't care what y'all say. One of the best anime that has come out in recent years. It really is. I don't know what's better, Full Metal Alchemist or Attack on Titan. I mean, I'm still going to lean a little bit more into Full Metal Alchemist, but Attack on Titan really, especially this last season, Season 4 in its entirety, has been fantastic. It's like the culmination of everything, you know? And let's not mention the Rumbling. I have, actually, to be fair, I've already read the manga. I know the show is not over yet, even though they are splitting it into so many parts. It's ridiculous. Like, completely missed the fact that that the third part had actually come out. And I could have done a reaction video to it, so I'm like, stupid. So, I mean, maybe I can fix that. I haven't watched it yet, but I know what's going to happen. For those of you who do not know, the Rumbling is the extinction event that happens at the end of Attack on Titan, where Eren controls a mountain, hundreds of thousands of colossal titans to stamp out everything and everyone in the world. It's pretty bad, honestly. I've been seeing a lot online that there's been a lot that people, I mean, that, you know, especially with modern military hardware, that we'd be able to defeat this pretty easily. I'm not entirely sure if that's the case, because, I mean, there was still a huge volley of, like, things that just tried to destroy the Titans when they were swimming under the water, and it didn't really do much. So, but, you know, I guess, again, somebody brought it up that planes would do the most damage, and they're probably right. But anyway, we all know about Godzilla, so who will win to this? Who will win against this? I mean, I don't think Godzilla would tolerate this shit. It'd be like, what the is going on? Especially if it's MonsterVerse Godzilla. I think that's what they're doing, too. Because I think people are implying that this is the most powerful Godzilla, and I'm like, did y'all forget about Godzilla Earth? But then again, that might be overkill. Please smash that like button if you want to see more sexy and nerdy content, and subscribe if you think I deserve it. Oh, I'm so excited!
Episode: legendary Godzilla will be tasked to stop one of the most destructive cataclysms in history. An apocalyptic event set to destroy all life on Earth in the most devastating and horrifying way imaginable. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Rumbling. Today we will focus on the challenges that the G-Man will face.
It knocked out 80% of the population in the anime and the manga. It's crazy.
Upon colliding with entire legions of colossal titans, and discuss Godzilla's preferred strategies that will either end this Rumbling once and for all, or possibly get him killed. Will the G-Man prevail and establish order once again on the planet, or will he perish with the rest? All this and more in today's episode, Legendary Godzilla vs. the Rumbling. Let's first explain what the Rumbling actually is. In the global hit anime known as Attack on Titan, we are introduced to an island known as Paradis, home of a group of people known as the Eldians. This place's most notable structures were these three walls that provided refuge for its inhabitants. This particular set of structures...
I knew that they were going to explain this in the video, so I just let it happen. That's why I didn't really fully explain it, but I'm glad they're doing that.
...will be very important in this episode, so pay close attention. This said rumbling is an event that is triggered by a supernatural being known as the Founding Titan, which would unleash legions of massive humanoid creatures known as Colossal Titans. These would then proceed to trample everything in their path, causing death, destruction, and inevitable doom on the rest of the inhabitants of the world. What exactly are these things? As their name suggests, colossal, or sometimes referred to as Colossus Titans, are gigantic skinless humanoid beings that are around 60 meters in height. Each of these has regenerative attributes, capable of regenerating lost limbs, organs, and anything severely damaged from cuts or explosives. But the Rumbling isn't just made up of a few of these. To say there are many more is an understatement. Back to these walls. Turns out that these 50-meter defensive structures were actually made up of many colossal titans that hardened into the shape of these walls. So now we can see that we aren't dealing with thousands of these, but potentially hundreds of thousands of colossal titans waiting to be unleashed. We know what some of you are thinking. It was said by an individual known as Carl Fritz that there were tens of millions. This was most likely an exaggeration, as well as William Tyburn's statement that there were millions as well. We really can't take this at face value since the number doesn't add up. Here at Goji, we did you guys a favor and made a rough estimate on how many colossal titans would fit inside these walls. We won't bore you with all the math involved, but we went ahead and figured that these walls would most likely fit anywhere between 573 to 590,000 colossal titans.
Maybe
Although
600,
large,
600,000
these
around
massive creatures would move at speeds faster than a sprinting human, and even faster than a galloping horse. One of the commanders of the Survey Corps even claimed the Rumbling could travel 600 kilometers inland within half a day, which puts their speed at around 50 kilometers per hour. Now that we have a good estimate of how many colossal titans Godzilla will face, let's now enter the simulation platform. Number 1, the first encounter. Will Godzilla even care about the destruction of mankind?
Of course he will, especially this one.
Depends. In the past, the G-Man has been a bit nonchalant when witnessing humans get killed as collateral damage.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. Everything is at stake at this point. Like, if everything is being destroyed, the trees, the plants, the animals, and all that stuff, Godzilla's like, oh, I'm gonna cut that shit out.
He's killed his fair share himself as well. To answer this question and to find out whether or not he'll get pissed at the Rumbling, we need to understand his role in the planet, which is to maintain balance, equilibrium on Earth. Anything that contributes to the well-being of the Earth will be on Godzilla's good side, and anything that does not will face his wrath. In this scenario, the Rumbling will begin here, the island of Madagascar.
What?
Oh, you thought the world of Attack on Titan is just random splotches of land? Watch this.
Holy
In order to
shit!
hit the mainland, this army of colossal titans will have to cross the most...
Oh my god, I never knew that. Wow. That's another game. See, no wonder I like the show. The show is more clever than you give it. You know, if anything, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Attack on Titans is anime Game of Thrones. There's a royal family in it and everything. Come on.
Zambique channel and head towards
that gets extinguished. The Targaryens. Ah!
the African mainland. The objective, destroy all human life outside of this body of land. The side effects of having tons of colossal titans swimming about are going to be quite devastating. These titans emit extremely hot gases that take form as steam. These in turn will cause the surrounding water to boil, literally cooking all life forms near the surface of the water along the rumbling's trajectory, turning the ocean into a salty fish soup. Godzilla will inevitably get a whiff of this and immediately get pissed.
Be pissed.
It's also important to note that the G-Man would have obviously felt something once the rumbling actually started. More on this later. But now we can bring up the fact that this kaiju is actually in tune and almost synced with the ocean itself. It can literally feel this happening, and the sting of death would have been detected thousands of miles away. The G-Man has now detected this disturbance and now heads towards the incoming rumbling. In the latest episode, we see that the entire Global Alliance lined up their fleet to face the incoming rumbling, armed with the latest up-to-date military technology. Now, let's get back to these colossal titans. As Godzilla heads toward the rumbling, we can be sure that the G-Man will waste no time taking the long route. He's taking shortcuts. If the rumbling takes place in the MonsterVerse cinematic universe, Godzilla will leverage vortexes that are located in the oceans. These allow titans to travel from point A to point B in record time, similar to how he did this in King of the Monsters. This will allow Godzilla to get there faster and fight some of these colossal titans in a more favorable arena: water. Except this water is boiling hot. Will this be a problem for Godzilla?
No.
Absolutely not. It is actually a lot more...
Like, honestly, I think his internal body temperature is hotter than anything a Titan can produce.
Likely that the insides of Godzilla are a lot hotter than the surrounding boiling water. This is because the G-Man's biology can be described as thermonuclear, powered by an internal biological nuclear reactor of sorts that keeps this Titan alive and also aids in the powering of his most important weapon of all, his atomic breath. There was no doubt that Godzilla would almost have to rely on this weapon if he were ever to stand a chance here, which brings the question, could Godzilla defeat all of these 570,000 plus colossal titans absent atomic breath? We know the G-Man's melee prowess is almost second to none. These things are basically half his height, which means that these would easily be dispatched on both land and sea. On land, the G-Man could rely on his impressive set of jaws, clawed hands, and a sledgehammer of a tail that would tear these things apart. On water, Godzilla would have to just swim through them, leveraging his sharp dorsals with his dorsal slice maneuver. The problem with this is that it would take the G-Man weeks or even months to catch up and destroy every single individual colossal titan without taking any breaks.
Yeah, and not only that, you have to kill them with the nape of the neck, so if Godzilla doesn't figure that out, then he's going to be doing that for a while and he's going to be too tired.
Only to turn back and find that these things will regenerate after getting all cut up. Oh yeah, if you didn't know, the only way to effectively kill these types of titans is a cut through the nape. And even with Godzilla's habit of cutting off heads, this will take too long a time to kill all colossal titans. This is where the atomic breath comes into play. But can Godzilla kill all the colossal titans with atomic breath? We would like to say yes, but that all depends on several factors, such as how spaced out or densely packed they are in a given area, how they are arranged, and how far this atomic breath can reach. In GVK, we witnessed Godzilla literally aim towards the center of the Earth and blast a hole through the crust and mantle, reaching the surface of the hollow Earth. But how much atomic breath was this, and how far did it reach? The crust of the Earth can vary in depth anywhere from 5 to 100 kilometers, depending on where you're standing. The mantle can reach depths of up to 2,900 kilometers. Why is this information important? Well, if we compare this distance to the added lengths of all the walls in Paradise Island, which in turn gives us a good estimate of how many colossal titans would fill this distance, we see that if we line up all the colossal titans side by side, this would still be a larger distance than what Godzilla blasted through in Hong Kong. Admittedly, stone, sediments, metal, and molten rock are a lot more difficult to blast through than tall, fleshy monsters. Yet this distance is still many times shorter than this line of titans.
I figured.
Godzilla could probably wipe out most of the colossal titans, but would be heavily, if not totally, depleted of energy at the end. And that's assuming these titans are all at once placed in a single line. Remember, if Godzilla takes a break and recovers, the remainder of the colossal titans would continue their warpath of destruction. So,
And they move 50 kilometers per hour. A lot of the Earth, like just in the amount of time it would take Godzilla to like rest and a little bit, they probably would have like killed half the world. They did that in a really fast time in the anime.
perhaps trying to take out every single one of these titans is not the best idea. Would Godzilla figure this out?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and here's why.
He's smart enough for that.
Number 2, the Alphas. Once the G-Man encounters hundreds of thousands of swimming titans, he'll first gauge the threat by destroying a few of them with the atomic ray. Godzilla's habit of aiming at the head will appear again, allowing him to destroy the napes of each of these colossal titans, preventing them from regenerating again. But upon looking at the horizon and seeing the plethora of colossal titans, the G-Man now has a decision to make. Waste his time trying to take out all of these smaller titans, or going to the source of the problem. That's right, alpha titans such as Godzilla process things more differently than you might think. Upon seeing how all of these creatures are moving with a single purpose, he'll immediately confirm that there is in fact something else controlling these titans. Something is telling them what to do. Another leader. Another alpha. If you know legendary Godzilla, you'll know where this is going.
Yeah, we do.
One of Godzilla's many attributes is the ability to detect other alpha titans around the globe, or at least determine the existence of another giant monster assuming a leadership role. In the past, we've seen a similar scenario where the G-Man determined that this janitor swarm was actually led by a larger specimen.
Oh, yeah?
By observing their behaviors, Godzilla was quickly able to determine that there is in fact someone behind all of this. And instead of wasting its atomic breath and energy on 500,000 of these colossal titans, he's heading for the source. Godzilla will now try to take out the founding titan. Now, it is quite possible that this founding titan could literally be anywhere, which means getting to it would be an uphill battle of pushing through hundreds of thousands of colossal titans, and at this point it could have already made landfall. In this scenario, Godzilla pushes through tons of colossal titans, cutting through them like a hot knife through butter, blasting his way through walls of meat, leaving piles of burnt flesh in his way.
That's exactly how I was imagining
At last,
it.
the G-Man has reached the founding titan, but is met with a nasty surprise. This thing is a lot bigger than he imagined. The man controlling this massive creature is known as Eren Yeager, who just recently acquired the full power of the founding titan, and whose titan's embodiment resembles something never seen before. This eccentric shape possibly is a result of Eren's head being detached from his body upon transformation, creating this long, massive line of rib-like structure. There are no real concrete official sizes, but by observing how it compares to the surrounding colossal titans, we can conclude that Eren's founding titan towers over Godzilla at approximately 350 meters in height. Yeah, that's taller than the Eiffel Tower, and anywhere between 800 to 900 meters in length.
Wow.
Godzilla is now dwarfed, but size is the least of things here. This thing has some serious abilities up its sleeve. Eren Yeager holds 3 of the 9 titans. The founding, attack,
way too
and
small.
Warhammer titan. The ability to...
The hell is he gonna have Zeke throw rocks at Godzilla? Godzilla's just gonna stand there like,
is this nigga serious?
Summon any of the past titan shifters, ability to create more colossal titans, and ability to morph into any of the titan forms. There are more abilities, but in this episode we'll focus on the abilities relevant to a fight against Godzilla. So now we see that there is a really good reason why Godzilla is now aiming to take out the founding titan. In terms of melee prowess, Eren's founding titan really can't do much since its physical build compared to Godzilla's is still way too fragile to actually engage in a 1v1 combat.
Yeah, you know, I mean, Eren literally is all bones. So if something is that dense, then, you know, it's not gonna work.
Limbs would snap upon making contact with a robust creature like the G-Man. Even if Eren does morph into any of the other Titan forms, Godzilla would still be able to physically outclass any of these 9 Titan forms. So what can Eren's founding Titan do against Godzilla, and how will the G-Man react upon seeing such a monstrosity of a Titan? Let's find out.
Don't fuck him up, he'll like that, yeah.
Number 3, Godzilla versus Founding Titan. Godzilla first lets out a roar of defiance against the much larger founding Titan and begins to charge its atomic breath while running to get a closer look to assess this threat and look for weaknesses. But as Godzilla begins to close the distance, this Titan triggers one of his many abilities, Hardened Spikes. This natural hardening ability is courtesy of the Warhammer Titan, allowing the shifter to create almost any sort of structure and weapons such as spikes. These can grow pretty large. They're made out of hardened Titan flesh. But while these could possibly pierce, there is no guarantee that these could cause lethal damage to an extremely dense Titan like the G-Man. The problem with this ability is that it must be used in moderation. Using it too much will exhaust the Titan shifter. These spikes, however, would keep him at bay for now. So it's evident at this point that this isn't really a question of if Godzilla can stop the rumbling, but can Godzilla defeat this founding Titan? Even at a distance, the founding Titan would still be at range for Godzilla. And given his habit at aiming for the head, this atomic ray with temperatures of more than 500,000 degrees Celsius will make way into the founding Titan's skull through the back of the head and destroying Eren Yeager's head, which controls this founding Titan. The death of Eren Yeager now means that the power of the Titans is now relinquished, and all Titans in existence would vanish before everyone's eyes. The rumbling in Attack on Titan could not be stopped with the current technology available in this era. Had this rumbling occurred during the late World War II, Cold War era, and beyond, the rumbling would have been obsolete, especially given the advent of missile and atomic weaponry. And since Godzilla himself is the embodiment of atomic weapons, there is no doubt that a creature this large, with such weapons, would have no problem defeating any sort of Titan.
Wow.
So, to finish off, could the rumbling actually work in the MonsterVerse cinematic universe? If Godzilla decides to solo this entire event, he could. Only if he goes directly for the founding Titan. A more realistic scenario would be Godzilla summoning his own army of Titans. Kaiju including Titanus Rodan, Mothra, Behemoth, Methuselah, Zilla, Amula, Kong, and many other kaiju that would rise up as a pack and put an end to this rumbling. If you enjoy fun
I don't know if they all have the same internal thermonuclear body temperature that Godzilla has, though. Maybe the Mutos. I don't know about Kong, because Kong has been burned by Godzilla in a couple of instances when he fought him. And I don't know if they all have the same advantages as he does.
Crossovers and what-if scenarios involving kaiju, monsters, and dinosaurs, you've officially found the best channel for this sort of content.
Good thing now I know. I love all of that. So yeah, that was great. I mean, I didn't even consider how simple it could be. You know, because Godzilla really could solo that act. And, you know, I guess I guess if Godzilla did exist, I mean, I feel like if Godzilla did exist, though, something would have pissed him off even earlier. Like, I think the whole attack on Paradise would have pissed him off, too. That's an imbalance right there. So, but I could be wrong. Like, we would just needed the whole entire anime to go by, and then when the rumbling happens, Godzilla just comes out and is like, "Hey, cut that shit out." But yeah, that was great. So, not much more to say about that, but I hope you guys liked the video, and please smash that like button if you want to see more sexy and nerdy content, and subscribe if you think I deserve it. And I'll see y'all in the next episode.